Okay, so here we go with our next lesson. This is going to be the most important thing you ever learn, serious, in music. The major scale. Okay, everything we do is based on the major scale. Every song you play is in a key. Believe it or not, a whole lot of bass players don't cover that part of it. They're just like, oh, give me some tabs and I'll learn off some tabs, and then somebody's like, oh, what key is it in? Or somebody's like, oh, Barry, do a bass solo, and they're like, well, I don't really know what notes I should use. Everything is based on major scale. Key is made up of major scale. The chords that are in the key that you're playing along with, we will even play some chords later on, but they're all made up of the major scale. Okay, stuff like modes that lead guitarist plays, it's all based on the major scale. They're just variants. Minor scales, they're just a variant of the major scale. Okay, so we're going to learn that one too, because we're going to need to know that. But for now, major scale. Okay, so what we're going to do, I'll show you all on one string first, but that's not how we're going to play it. I'm just going to show you the principle. So major scale is tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. So tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. Okay, and what that's talking about is spacing. So a full tone is that spacing, 2 frets. 1 fret, which is half of that, is a semitone. Cool. So if we looked at F, starting here on our 1st fret, and we went tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. That's an F major scale, okay? But that's a pretty long-winded way of playing it, right, when we've got all these other strings. So that's just to kind of display that, I suppose, so you can see those spacings. But what we're going to do is we're going to learn a pattern. So here's the cool thing for bass. You learn one pattern, you put it anywhere on the neck, and it works. Cool. So we're gonna learn A first, but then I just move the pattern wherever I want it to get any major scale. Okay, so this isn't years and years of learning scales. This is like a day. Cool. So we're going to start at A, which of course you've watched the other video about how to locate notes on the neck of your bass, and you know where that is, 5th fret on the top string. Cool. So that's our first note, that's our naming note. Our next note is a tone up. Okay, so we're going from 5th to 7th. The next note is a tone up, but we're actually going to play it on this next string down. Okay, so we're going to play the 4th fret on the A string there. The next note is a semitone. So 5th fret again. 7th fret. Okay, and now next string down, back to that 4th fret. And then up a tone and a semitone to finish. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to use some different fingers here. So the first note I'm going to play with my 1st finger, my pinky. One thing you're going to have to do as a bass player is get a strong pinky, because you're going to use it a lot, because these frets are a long way apart. For economy of movement, you're going to use your pinky an awful lot. It'll get stronger. So 1st pinky, 1st, 2nd. So I'm talking about finger numbers here, 1, 2, 3, 4, which I don't want to call pinky. So pinky, 1st. Now I'm going to use my 3rd, because see, my spacing is different. And that is the A major scale. And I'm going to learn that up and down. Cool. Again, you can get your metronome out, practice doing it in time, set it nice and slow so you've got time to move around those frets, remembering that we're alternating these fingers as we go. So as I play, I'm alternating those. That's something to keep working on, otherwise you get in the habit of just using the same finger all the time, which works perfectly fine until you try and play something with a bit of speed in it, and then you try and do that with one finger. Ain't happening. Cool. We're going to number these, so it's important to learn these numbers as well. We're going to number them 1 to 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8, octave. Oct. That's where the word octave comes from. 8 degree scales. Scale degrees. Right? So those are the degrees of the scale. 1 to 8. So we're going to need those for all our chords and keys and all of that. Okay, so right, so that was our A major scale. Now let's say I want a B major scale, just to keep it simple. So we're at A here. All I need to do is take that whole pattern, move it up a tone to my B. Simple, right? C major. Just start on a C. Cool. As E. So all I've got to do is start on whichever note I want the major scale for. That's where we get off lightly as guitarists and bass players. One pattern covers the whole lot. Cool, so so learn that scale, learn it backwards and forwards, learn it in different places. The further, the lower you come on the neck, the harder it's going to get because of the spacing. So if you're a bit younger and you're struggling a bit with the stretch of the hand, you can bring it further up the neck. It's just the same pattern. Cool. And that is our major scale. That's what we're going to base everything on. So now if you know that you're playing over a, let's use A major chord, you know you have these notes that fit within it. But we're going to look at some variations later on, so we're going to look at things like this flat 7 and how that works, but a little bit more complicated. The thing you'll hear talked about a lot is 1, 5 and 8. And the other one is 3, because that's what guitar chords are made up of. 1, 3 and 5. 8 is the same as 1. Cool. But yeah, we'll carry on with that as we go.